I told you, I don't watch new movies anymore. And I wish I could say it's because they're all repetitive and cliche, even though they are. I wish I could say it's because people are afraid to make fun of things and have fun and tell jokes because it offends people, because it does, and they do. And I want to say it's because I'm old and I'm tired and the new things scare me, but it's not that. Even though I am so tired. It's just one day they released a short film and it was awesome. It's been described as a 50-minute run-on sentence, and I think that's probably apt. Like, I've been doing a lot of anime lately, so I'm going to take a break for a bit after this one. And it's not like my usual examples of amazing and perfect storytelling, which we haven't seen in probably 2 decades in the genre anyway, but there's a reason for it, and I'll get to that in a second. And again, changing the format, I don't know about the director, I don't know about the writers, I don't know about the voice actors, I don't know about how the box office sales did, I don't know how DVD home sales done. I don't think any of that really matters here anyway. Whether this is a hidden gem or the greatest thing and it was super popular or whatever, I don't think any of that matters. If movies like I Come in Peace, like Kickboxer, like King of the Kickboxers and Gattaca are a fine wine, a bold scotch. This one is absinthe. It's moonshine. It's radiator hooch. And it's sugar-covered cereal balls. It's sweet. It's hyperactive. It's totally bad for you. But you love it anyways. So what is Dead Leaves? The closest thing I can compare it to is the movie Shoot 'Em Up. Do you remember Shoot 'Em Up? It's a movie that understands what it is, it understands audience expectations, and it removes every ounce of context and nuance outside of that. The characters have a history, but they only give it enough lip service so you have to fill in the blanks yourself or it makes no sense. The characters are crazy, like who has a TV for a head? And they give you enough of an explanation so that it kind of makes sense, but not so much that you have autists talking about genetic realism in movies or some other nonsense. So the reason that I'm picking this video is because there's a word. It's a big word, but I'm going to use it more on these things. Verisimilitude. I think I'm pronouncing that right. The word means the appearance of being true or the appearance of being real. And the reason that autists and theater kids and commie pinko bullshit ruin movies is because they mistake verisimilitude for realism. They judge stories based on realism, not realizing that it's verisimilitude that they crave. And if you don't get the difference, it's kind of simple. And animation, by its very nature, proves it does better for this. Like, Dead Leaves is a world of hyper-stylized people and action, ripped straight from a comic book. It's almost abstract in the way it's done. It's semi-abstract. So when you were to see a realistic thing, you would see a realistic gunfight. They tend to be fairly boring, long, drawn out. People hold things certain ways. People use certain types of weapons, whatever. In this one, when Retro, the TV for a head guy, shoots a pistol at a wall of cops, dozens of cops, they're all shot instantly. They all die slowly. Guns don't work like that in real life. Cops don't work like that in real life, but they appear to, and it's consistent. That's verisimilitude.
That sex the two of you had was so totally incredible.
Do you love action? Do you crave animation? Do you hunger for chaos, kino, aesthetics, and pure vibe? Did you ever imagine a story about a man with a television for a head and a woman with a panda eye could brighten your day? What about a tale that makes sense yet refuses to reveal how?
I wonder what you and I really are. It'd just be nice if we knew whether or not you and I were spies or clones or bad guys or whatever.
Does it really make any difference?
No, I guess not.
A narrative so perfectly chaotic it doesn't even need logic to be a masterpiece.
Now how about some wheels?
I'm on it! Out of my ride!
How about a story with gratuitous nudity thrown in for no reason other than it's awesome?
Oops, sorry about that.
Well, I've got the Japanimation for you. In an era drowning in AI slop, DEI marketing slop, CGI slop, and millennial slop, the land of the rising sun delivers the ultimate fast-paced, action-packed sci-fi roller coaster ride you've ever witnessed. You don't even have to like the genre. Trust me, you'll walk away grinning, scratching your head in the best way possible. It's a saga of ultra-violence. A story of family, revenge, the circle of life, and humanity's reckless quest to play God and the consequences that follow. It's Dead Leaves 2003.
Myself. Emotionally, it's resonant. You're meant to understand the storytelling concepts with a minimal amount of explanation. They assume you're not stupid. You know how firearms work. You know that pointing a gun at somebody, pulling the trigger, is meant from a storytelling perspective to kill that person, right? Murder that person. Defend yourself against the cops. Whatever it is. So do they need to go through all of this effort to make some hyper-realistic simulation when you can just put a couple frames of awesomeness and your brain automatically knows what's going on? It's the difference between taking something literally and treating something seriously. Don't listen like a Spurg. All right, pause. And look, I'm going to be real with you. I hate, and I mean I hate, movie reviews on YouTube. Theater kids, communist, wannabe, pinko philosophy students love to talk about movies as either a science fiction spectacle or some communist philosophical babble. But this is another reason why I like Dead Leaves. It's too chaotic. Like, commies can't say a damned word about it because it makes no sense. Like, what? Are they going to call the moon prison capitalist whatever? No. They can't hate their dad through this movie. AI slop can't make their money talking about this movie. It's too obscure, so they leave it alone. And that's another thing that's just awesome about great movies that never got the big box office run. This movie is uncommunistifiable greatness. They don't force feed commie babble into the plot because there is no plot. Not really. They can't talk about capitalism because it defies commie gobbledygook. It's a specific movie with a chaotic message. And there is a story here. Like, I'm not going to tell you what it is, though. Just watch and have fun. And after you watch it once, twice, 3 times, maybe you see a wiki, you might be able to pull out a good enough explanation as to what's going on. Now, here's some explosions in anime titties. I told you that this was going to be a video that coasts on the concept of verisimilitude. There's no theme. They talk about genetically altered people, but it's got no bearing on anything. There's no social commentary on it or whatever. They talk about family, but the son is born, grows old, and dies in like 4 hours. So what? There's 2 chicks fighting over the legacy of their scientist father and boyfriend, but it's not explained, and it doesn't really matter. The theme is simple. Shut up and have fun. The theme is a movie that breaks the rules of storytelling. Every rule. Movie making, animation, what constitutes professional work, character arcs, plot points, Chekhov's gun setups and payoffs, and it shows you it can just break all the rules and you can still enjoy yourself. And that's the thing. It's not like a bad movie. Bad movies don't execute certain rules, and so you have some flaws. But what they do here is they break all the rules, which means that has to be a choice. Now there's a few characters here. There's Retro, a TV for a head, psychopath. There's Panda, a chick with a panda for an eye, and a psychopath. And then there's the blue and green guards, 2 psychopaths, but one is skinny and one is bulky. There's the Grim Reaper chick, a half-naked female psychopath, ex-girlfriend of Panda's dad, I think it was, or husband. Yeah. And there's a doctor who's a bit of a psychopath. And there's a guy with a drill for a dick who's a bit of a horn dog and kind of a psychopath. And then about 24 other random psychopaths that you won't even remember. And the credits, they give them weird names like Galactica, 666, 777, Dr. Yabu, whatever. Chinko, Sergeant, Train Driver, Tank Driver, Guard 1, B, C, and D, Inmate Next Door. You get it. Setups and payoffs, LOL. Reveals, LOL. They do reveal. I mean, they kind of do reveals, but it's mostly because it helps move things along. They aren't really needed. They don't want to bog you down with exposition, so it starts with two characters in a crater with no memories. They find out that they're really good at violence, but they don't know why, so at one point they ask, wouldn't it be good to find something out, like they were genetic super soldiers or spies or something, and then Retro's like, who cares? Just picks his nose. And that's a hint to the audience. Who cares? Just enjoy yourself. So they find out they used to be on a lunar prison planet before this, and nobody knows why. They find out that the Grim Reaper used to date Panda's dad, who started some genetic experiments, and the girls hate each other, but they refuse to elaborate further. The girls hate each other, there's a reason, shut up and watch. And then Panda gives birth to a kid who instantly shoots Grim in the stomach. In 20 minutes he's a teenager, in an hour he's elderly. Everybody assumes he's the perfect genetic specimen. Why? They don't tell you. But clearly everybody assumes this was some kind of grand plan to make all this happen. And why is the moon half gone? They don't know, and they don't tell you. Of course, they blow it up again later, so you kind of get the idea, but you're not explained, and it doesn't matter. The Grim, she talks about some poetry from some source with caterpillars and rebirth or whatever, and at the end a giant caterpillar comes alive and eats everything, eventually dies, takes out a chunk of the moon when he does. Has this happened before? Is every time they get sent up there, they keep blowing off a chunk of the moon? Panda and Retro get into escape pods, blast back in the Earth before leaving a crater. Is this some kind of ultra-violent cycle where they keep blowing up the moon, falling down to Earth, committing a bunch of crimes, getting sent back there in a loop? Shut up. Just enjoy yourself, sir. We're gonna blast through the plot on this one. A man with a TV for a head and a chick with a panda spot in her eye wake up in a crater with no memory. He's a horn dog, and she wants a hot dog. The moon is half exploded, so they decide to get some food and do some crime. Looking at the moon gives Panda a flashback, and they crash. They get arrested, sent to a prison camp in space. Movie starts. Panda gets a flashback about caterpillars and life, and it's all some weird stuff. Mostly there for like visual appeal. And then there has a bunch of people, all these weird mutant-looking creatures in straitjackets. TV is losing his mind, and two prison guards are watching it unfold. So they are sent to feeding chambers where they meet other prisoners who all have weird implants and genetic problems, and you see why the guards are powerful and evil. They don't care about anybody, they just kill them on a whim. And they seem to know Retro and Panda. Why? They don't know. Working in the mines, they get a little bit of exposition. Everybody seems to remember them, but they have no memory of everybody else. So Panda, flashbacks again, figures talking to them both. And then that night, they're in the cells that night. TV is Retro's bored, Panda's bored, so she lets him fool around. And that for some reason, the money shot gives them both the power to break out somehow. They must have known how to escape, and they must have known the right code to use on their cuffs and their ankle things, and so they plan a breakout. And the thirsty mutants that were listening to them fool around earlier devote their lives to help them escape. Why? Because it was just like really great sex or something. So they're on their way to the port to get a ship. And ultraviolence. Ultraviolence, ultraviolence, ultraviolence. The mutant guards grab some robots. They try to kill everybody. The mechanical dick guy breaks them into the armory where they get a tank to start killing these robots. They have a plan to get on the train to lead them down there and hit the port. They have a quiet moment after the end of all of this chaos. And it's like, I'm not even exaggerating, it's chaos. So they ask themselves, how come they know so much? And then Panda starts getting sick for some reason, and the mutant guards meet them at the port. All their mutant friends enjoy a beer, and the doctor finds out that Panda is 6 months pregnant, when they only had sex like an hour ago. But he has the gene, and he will be all powerful. So the docs remind them that they used to be spies or something like that, but he kind of mumbles and you're not quite sure what the heck he's talking about. At this point, mutant guards intercept the train, derail it, kill all the prisoners, except for Panda and Retro. They land in the lab after the explosion and find out they are running human weapons experiments with all the genetic guys here, and these are all the ones that were degenerate they put in the mines. So TV and Panda end up fighting them both to the death. TV ends up losing his body when he and the blue guy get into this big firefight, and TV ends up putting a robot body on him while Dick distracts the mutant guard. Then the Green Mutant is ordered not to kill Panda, and she takes the opportunity and the pause to take him out. And then you end up in, I would call it the main room. I'm not even sure what kind of room it is, but the Grim Reaper and Panda fight over the father's legacy stuff, which is kind of strange. And you find out that Panda and Retro, they were sleeping, they put them in cryo sleep for years and escaped in the pause. And that's what caused the crater, and that's what caused the memory loss. So it turns out that Panda was the girl's father's girlfriend. And then she's jealous because he liked her more than her. Panda tries to stall, says she's hurt and pregnant, so they can't fight right away. Grim ends up killing Retro to bait her into a fight. Panda is about to lose the fight at some point after a lot of fighting, which I don't think I could put the things on here because there's a huge amount of nudity and I don't feel like editing all that. So it'll probably just be a still shot or something. Anyways, so just when she's about to lose, all of a sudden a pistol comes out of her underwear and she gives birth. The baby wakes up, shoots Grim. Retro wakes up, grabs a robot body to keep going on. The lab ends up turning into a giant caterpillar and tries to eat everything. And the baby is now a teenager. So as they're fighting to get away and get to an escape plan, the caterpillar ends up blowing up the moon. The baby, who is now an old man, sacrifices himself to save his parents, jumping onto the caterpillar and blowing it up. They blow another chunk out of the moon and then find a ship and escape. During the escape, they end up crash landing on Earth, getting launched out of escape pods, and they land in a giant crater. And then you're meant to see the cycle. It starts again. It's jazzy, awesome chaos. So yeah, dude, this film is perfect in its imperfection. It's better than perfect. It's anti-perfect. Lots of movies are shit. They flub the acting, they flub the story, the characters, the plot, or the themes. This one flubs everything. And the thing is, that's a choice. So what I'm trying to get at here is a poorly executed film will get some details wrong. A perfectly poorly executed film gets all the details wrong. You don't accidentally get everything wrong, and that becomes a choice. They did what fashion people call artful dishevelment. They let the verisimilitude carry you through an hour of fun, showing you that they could have done any of this stuff, but they chose not to for all of it. And if you watch this, you will truly see why I shit on Disney for putting sad music on and making characters cry and then expecting that to be emotionally resonant. You can make good slop. What you can't do is make slop and pretend it's good. It's like playing hearts. Either you aim for getting no hearts, or you get all the hearts and take the moon. And this movie is all heart, I tell you. So if you're going to screw something up, shoot for the moon. There was a brief period in history, a lost generation just forced to be better. They made a film, they broke all the rules, and they showed you that you don't have to make a good story so long as you make a perfect bad one. And after watching this, if you watch the rest of the movies on this channel, keep that in mind. Verisimilitude. Does the movie give you the appearance of being right, or of being good, or being a well-done story? Is it giving you the appearance of being the damned best? Because if they get that detail right, everything else can fall into place. And if you're gonna screw it up, go all the way or not at all. So enjoy it, fellas, because I damn well did. Cheers.
That sex the two of you had was so totally incredible.